This week I thought it would be fun to share with you guys the different breakfast meals that I've been making for my family. You guys know that I love to make all of my meals from scratch, and I recently just got a new grain mill. The mill that I was using before this one I got whenever I first got married, and it was already used before that, and so it had a really good run, but it finally tuckered out, so it was time to purchase a new one. And I got the mock mill, and it took so long for it to come in, so I've really been missing grinding my own wheat berries, but it was well worth the wait. I really love this mill. It grinds the flour so fine. It makes it really easy to bake using whole grain. So for this first recipe, I am making a brioche bread to make homemade French toast. I actually have this brioche bread recipe on my cast iron skillet cooking blog, so I will link that for you guys down below. But it's just made with milk, honey, eggs, vanilla, sugar, whole grain flour, sea salt, and some butter. It's a very simple recipe, and I find that brioche bread makes the best French toast. So anytime I make this, I like to make a couple loaves at a time so that we can have some for making French toast. And I can also make one into French toast casserole that I can throw into the freezer, so we can have another breakfast ready whenever we need it. After my bread rose, I took it out of my pan to shape it. For brioche bread, I cut it in half, and then I cut each half into 8 equal sections. Shape those into balls by rolling it on the counter and then putting 8 rolls into each pan. And then I'll let this rise a second time, and then it will be ready to bake. It is really cold here still, and so we have our fireplace going in the basement. So anytime I am making bread, I always bring the bread downstairs by the fire, just put it on the mantle above the fire to help it to rise a little bit quicker. Before baking this, I am putting an egg wash on top. I just mixed together about a tablespoon of water and an egg yolk, and that just helps it to get that nice golden brown color on the top. I also have this brioche French toast recipe over on my blog. I often get asked why this YouTube channel is called Our Oily House, and that's because when I first started YouTube and blogging, I made a lot of recipes about essential oils, so that's where the oily came from. Now I do still make a lot of DIY recipes for cleaning and hair care and skincare, and a lot of those still do have essential oils in them. Not all of them do, but that is where that name came from. And then a few years after starting the blog Our Oily House, I then started a second blog for all of my cooking recipes, and because I do a lot of cooking in cast iron, I call that one Cast Iron Skillet Cooking.com. And so all of my cooking recipes can be found on the Cast Iron Skillet Cooking blog, and then a lot of my DIY recipes can be found on Our Oily House. So I can link both of those below, but for this particular video, if you're looking for any of these recipes, they can all be found at castironsskilletcooking.com. this second recipe, I am making a quiche. This is something that my family loves, and this is something that I really love to make because I can prep it the day before. And so oftentimes when I'm going to make a quiche, I will get all of my veggies cut up and my eggs whisked together, get this all put into a skillet, and then I can let it sit overnight, and in the morning all I have to do is bake it. Now when I make a quiche, I just kind of put in there whatever I have. It's a great way for me to clean out my refrigerator. Sometimes I add in bacon or sausage if it's to frost it. Other times I might make a veggie one. Sometimes I add in green onions and peppers. Again, it just really depends on what I have in my pantry and my refrigerator. So on this particular day, I am using up some green peppers and onions and potatoes and adding in a lot of cheese. And then I am making the crust with just some sourdough starter. So I preheated a cast iron skillet, and then I just pour sourdough starter in there and move it around to get it up on all the sides, and then I'll just pour my egg veggie mixture in there. This is a really simple and delicious way to make quiche. I'm going to take a quick break from cooking in the kitchen to tell you guys about today's video sponsor, Element. Element is a tasty electrolyte drink with everything you need and nothing you don't. Element is formulated to help anyone with their electrolyte needs and is perfectly suited for those who are following a keto, low carb, or a paleo diet. I love Element because they don't have any junk added in. They are sugar-free, free of artificial ingredients. They are gluten-free and they have no fillers in them. So they are a very healthy option for an electrolyte drink. When you sweat, the primary electrolyte lost is sodium, and when sodium is not replaced, it's common to experience muscle cramps and fatigue. Electrolytes facilitate hundreds of functions in your body, including nerve impulses, hormone regulation, nutrient absorption, and fluid balance. So it's really important to replace those electrolytes that are lost throughout the day. Element can help prevent and eliminate headaches, muscle cramps, fatigue, sleepiness, and other common symptoms with electrolyte deficiencies. My whole family loves Element, and anytime that we run out, they're always looking for the next shipment to be delivered. We like drinking it just on a daily basis, but they really come in handy for our family when we are enjoying this nice weather and just doing our sports and different activities that we do in the evening. Right now, Element is offering my viewers a free sample pack with all of their different flavors. So this is a great way to share Element with a friend or just to figure out what your favorite flavor is. Our favorite is definitely the grapefruit and the raspberry. So if you guys want to check out Element, be sure to check out the link down in my description box below, or go to drinkelement.com/ouroilyhouse. That is DRINKLMNT.com/ouroilyhouse. For this next meal, I am making a oatmeal bake. Now, I am filming this on a Saturday afternoon. Typically on Saturday at some point I try to think about breakfast for Sunday morning because Sunday mornings can be a little hectic around here getting everybody ready and fed and out the door for church. So you will see that there is no final clip of this meal, and that's because I didn't even think about doing that on a Sunday morning. We go to Sunday school before church, and so in order to get to church and Sunday school on time, we have to leave at 8:15. And so having breakfast ready the night before is really crucial for us. So for this, I put together a bunch of oatmeal with milk and eggs, put some berries in there. Again, I have this full recipe on my cooking blog, so I will link that for you guys down below. And then in the morning, all I had to do was bake this and serve it to the kids. For this next meal, I'm going to be making some whole grain sourdough pancakes. This is a favorite around here, and this is something that has been on the regular rotation of breakfast for over a decade. Everyone in my family loves it, but whenever I am making sourdough pancakes, I will feed my starter the night before, and I like to add milk into the starter so that it can be a higher protein, richer, more filling pancake. And then in the morning, I will add a little bit more milk and the rest of the ingredients for my pancakes. I'm adding in some eggs, a little bit of oil, honey, some vanilla, and then these are ready to fry up in my skillet. I've been making these pancakes for so long that I don't have to follow a recipe anymore. I just kind of know the consistency that I need my batter to be, but I do have this full recipe on my blog if it is something that you want to try. For this last breakfast, I am making biscuits and gravy. This is my kids' all-time favorite meal, and anytime it is someone's birthday, they request biscuits and gravy for breakfast. So on this particular day, I have a little boy who is turning 7, and as usual, he wanted biscuits and gravy for his breakfast. So I'm starting off by making some whole grain biscuits, and then after I get those going, I will start on my gravy. I'm actually going to be making some homemade sausage because I still have a bunch of venison, and so I'm going to brown up a pound of ground venison, and then I added in a bunch of Italian seasoning and some salt and pepper, garlic, and onion powder, and then I added in some flour and milk to make my gravy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got some new meal inspiration. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will link all of these different recipes for you guys in my description box below.